Hi Marina,
Hello.
thank you for joining to this interview. And this is interview of studies of feature of Gestalt therapy training. It's international study which conducted by Gestalt Research Association. And my name is Alexey Vinogradov, and I will ask you some questions about your experience being a Gestalt therapist and being a leader of Gestalt Institute.
Yeah. Thank you. And thank you for your invitation.
So, first of all, can you introduce yourself and can you say about your status of Gestalt therapy?
Yes, sure. Well, my name is Marina Serobyan. I am a Gestalt therapist, Gestalt supervisor, and trainer. I am the founder of Gestalt Institute of Yerevan and also one of the main trainers. I am also trainer of Nepal Gestalt Institute and Caucasus Institute of Gestalt Therapy and Family Psychotherapy in Tbilisi, Georgia. Yeah, I also teach at the university, master's program and Gestalt therapy.
So you have a lot experience of teaching Gestalt therapy, right?
More or less.
Okay. So could you tell about yourself, how you become a Gestalt therapist and how you became the head of the Gestalt Institute?
Yes. Well, many years ago, several Gestalt therapists came to Armenia, to Yerevan, and they provided some short-term workshops or training programs. And I participated to these workshops. And this approach became quite interesting for me. And then I learned that in Tbilisi, a new institute will be founded and a new Gestalt program, Gestalt therapy program will start. And I decided to become a Gestalt therapist. But back then, I think it was more intuitive decision because it was interesting for me, this approach, but it was unpredictable for me. But after the first training block in Tbilisi, when I came back home to Yerevan, I remember that I noticed that something had changed inside me and around me. And actually, from this moment started my curiosity toward Gestalt therapy. Yeah. And about the institute, you asked also
Yeah,
how
how you
I
become a
came.
leader?
Well, our institute, Gestalt Institute of Yerevan, it's quite a young institute. We started it 2 years ago, and together with Franz Milmester, he supports a lot our institute. We started it because in Armenia, unfortunately, we don't have many therapeutic approaches. I'm in institutes or schools, therapeutic schools. And it was needed. It was really needed to start Gestalt approach in Yerevan.
Mhm. Mhm. So you found your Gestalt Institute about 2 years ago, right?
Yes.
And can you say more? How is Gestalt therapist education generally organized in your institute, and what are its advantages and disadvantages?
In my institute, you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, in your institute.
Well, it's our program is based on EAGT standards. So it's or EAGT requirements, advantages and disadvantages. Advantages, one of the advantages I think is that one of our requirements is that our students should be psychologists. We don't accept students from other with other professional background. The other one, I think, we are quite young, so it's difficult yet to tell like what are our advantages or disadvantages because we are young. But I think also our values, also our trainers, because all of them are very much experienced trainers, senior trainers from different countries. I think our approach, because our education is based on relational approach and field therapy paradigm. We don't teach our students in individualistic or monopersonal approach. So it's more field-oriented or relational-oriented. About disadvantages, I think it's early. It's early to say about disadvantages, so it's difficult for me to formulate it right now.
Okay. And how many students, teachers, and training programs do you have?
We have one basic training program for Gestalt therapists, but we also provide different workshops, both for Gestalt therapists and for psychotherapists from different modalities. We have 6 trainers in our institute. We have 3 therapists of group process, 1 supervisor, and we have 2 groups of students. So in the first group, we started with 18 students, but now there are 16 students, and in the second group, they are 11.
Thank you. And the main question of this interview is, who is Gestalt therapist and how you can define this role?
Yeah. You know, I remember when I was a student, Gestalt student, and we were asked to write an essay. And my topic was like the characteristics of a Gestalt therapist. So I asked this question. I did a small research and I asked this question to both experienced Gestalt therapists and also our other students who is Gestalt therapist. Because back then I noticed that even Gestalt therapists were different, but at the same time they shared something essential among each other. It depends from which side I will answer to your question. Of course, from formal aspect, Gestalt therapist is the one who has completed Gestalt training, let's say. But if I share my reflections, I think Gestalt therapists are different, but it depends. It depends the paradigm they follow. So, because if a Gestalt therapist works in individualistic approach, so their focus is on one thing, and if they work more, if they follow field theory paradigm or relational paradigm, so their focus is different. But however, in general, for me, Gestalt therapist is the one who is curious, who is phenomenologically and field oriented, who is ready and willing to welcome novelty and uncertainty, who is not expert, who is curious to know, to meet the novelty, to meet the experience like it's quite new every time, even with the same client, who is able to stay with client's experience instead of trying to fix it, who whose focus is not just the client, but what is happening between me and client, and also who I am right now as a therapist, and who uses his or her resonance working with a client, who is able to become an instrument for therapy, and who has values, and who respects the other who is sitting in front of him or her, I mean the client. Yeah, maybe that's it. Or
Thank
I
you.
can say more, but
So,
okay, let's
so,
stop.
so rich definition. Good. Thank you. What challenges do Gestalt therapy students face during their training in your institute, and how does your institute help them to overcome these challenges?
Yeah. Yes, there are a lot of challenges, of course.
Mm.
Well, I think the first challenge is the education itself. I mean, Gestalt education, because usually students come to the training, and they are eager to learn theory, to get knowledge, to get structured knowledge, and at some point they meet some disappointment because Gestalt education is different from the academic education or the educational system which we are used to. And I remember also I had this kind of difficulties when I started my Gestalt training. I remember every time when every morning we started with body awareness, and I hated it. I didn't like this part. I thought it's meaningless. Why should we do it? But later I noticed that whenever I pay attention to my body, I feel anxiety. So, and it was kind of turning point. Wow, something is happening. It's not just meaningless. So this kind of difficulties also meet our students. So why we don't get knowledge, structured knowledge, even though in our institute, our trainers, they also give some structure, of course, theoretical knowledge as well, but this experiential learning is quite new for people. So this is one of the main challenges, I guess. And also, I think students learn how to pay attention to their sensations and feelings. And sometimes they think that if they express their feelings, so the others should accept accept them, and so it brings some confusion and misunderstanding in the group. So yes,
Mhm.
I think mainly the way of education, I mean, this experiential learning can be challenging. Yes. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. And how do you help students to overcome these challenges?
Well, explaining that it's quite normal to feel like
Mm.
that, supporting them to value their own experience, to learn from their own experience, to be curious toward them, and like what happens in the group among the students. Of course, suggesting them to go to their individual therapy process and so on.
Thank you. And what ethical issues most often arise during training, if they arise?
Yeah. When trainers think that the student is not ready to become a Gestalt therapist, I think until now, this is the main ethical issue we have faced. Yeah.
So how to tell this to students, you mean?
Not just how to tell, yeah, but yes, and how to tell, what to do, so and how to manage the process in the group as well when it happens, and yeah.
Okay. And what challenges do you face personally as a leader of institute? I suppose there
Well,
is a lot
of course,
different one.
of course. Well, financial difficulties, also because in Armenia, it's easy to become a psychotherapist in 1 year or in 2 years. So, and in this sense, it's sometimes it's not clear for psychologists why should we learn 4 years to become a therapist, psychotherapist, if we can do it just in 1 year, and to earn the same amount of money as if we studied longer. This is also a challenge to have students and to have yes, to have students. It's also one of the main challenges.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
So, next question: how is the professional identity of Gestalt therapist formed during the training process?
You mean in general, not just
Yeah,
in our
yeah,
institute?
in general,
Yeah.
how you think about it?
Facing, I think, many challenges. And first, being frustrated, excited, all the time, I think, because if we think that learning process is similar to academic system, then we get frustrated, of course. Then slowly, step by step, students start to feel this experiential learning, just to feel, not when students start also to feel, not to try just understand with their mind, but also through their body and through the other aspects of the experience. And there is a moment, I think, when students, maybe at the end, when they become more humble. I think this is also some important moments of Gestalt training, when they start, when they begin to see the other person as a human being, uh, and when they perceive that they are also a human being, not just an expert who knows everything, who knows better, and who will uh, fix everything, every problem that appears in therapeutic process.
Mhm.
When they are able to stay with uncertainty, because it doesn't happen usually from the beginning. From the beginning, usually they struggle with uncertainty.
Mhm.
Uh, but I hope, because unfortunately, not every student like goes through this all kind of stages, maybe. But when they are able to stay with uncertainty and with
Mhm.
not knowing.
Mhm. Mhm. So they then they became this identity of Gestalt therapy is formed, right? It's
Of
one
course,
of
there are
point.
also other moments as well when they start to work with themselves, when they know that it's very important to work with themselves, to support
Mhm.
themselves, when they get familiar with their own resonance, when they use their own resonance, and uh, and I'm sure there are many other aspects as well.
Mhm. Thank you. And how do you see the development of Gestalt therapy in the near future, in general?
In general, well, um, I have some speculations, but I think it's too early to tell about them. But in general, of course, Gestalt therapy changes, and we can notice that it has been changing from the beginning, from our founders' time. And I like it that Gestalt therapy is flexible approach, and it always considers the needs of current period and also challenges of current period. So I like it that it changed. What I notice, so sometimes I said that when Gestalt therapy was founded, so in figure ground formation, the figure was a figure, but now ground is more figural than figure. So I think the changes will continue in this direction, that we are paying more and more attention to the ground aspects of experience, and also how we as therapists become the part of ground, how we create the common ground with our clients. And so I think this, and also it depends on how in the near future we will consider what is the change in therapy. I think it depends also on this question.
It's a big question for all therapeutic schools, I
Yes,
believe.
yes. And what is change? So
Uh-huh.
what should we support? Um, but I think that at least I notice more and more what influences what the change is, how I work with myself. So how I first work with myself. So maybe in this direction,
Mhm. Mhm.
because not the client change, but also the whole system changes. I mean, client therapist and more.
Mhm.
So maybe the changes will be more visible in field approach, field
Mhm.
theory approach.
Mhm. Thank you. And going back to institute, I have one more question. Do your institute interact with another Gestalt organization? Or maybe it's part of another Gestalt organization, or maybe you have some interactions?
Not yet. But there are many Gestalt therapists from different institutes who support our institute. But no, we don't interact with other organizations yet.
How do you think why you don't need to interact with other organization just because you don't need them, or if any other reasons?
No, of course we need, but as I mentioned earlier, we are a young institute, so step by step we make these changes. So in near future, maybe there will be this kind of interactions.
And is there anything else that you want to add to our conversation, or maybe there is some question which I didn't say, something important?
I don't know. Nothing comes to my mind right now.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for sharing your experience and for answering my questions. It was interesting conversation.
You are welcome, and thank you as well.